Hello, welcome back to Lead Judges TV. We're here live in the studio. I'm your host, as ever, Dan Potts, and I'm with Lead Judges. How you doing, my man?
Oh, I'm all good. Like, you know, it's been a busy week. It's been a good week, hasn't it? Really, if I look back on it.
And the sun's shining, mate. Which
sun
is
shining
helping.
Today. You know.
I'm not gonna lie, mate. You look like you don't need any more sunshine with that tan, mate. Ain't gonna lie, bro.
Hat off today, like, you know, and enjoying the sun, like, you know. Summer is nearly upon us. Lovely.
Well, guys, there's only one place to start, really. MIKEL ARTETA has signed a new deal until 2025. Let's go straight into it. Lee, what are your thoughts? What was your thoughts today when you heard the news?
Listen, not unexpected, if I'll be honest. If I'll be totally honest about it, it was always going to happen. He's done his remit. You know, I've always said it was really. I personally think, you know, what Edu said about, you know, there ain't no targets and all that. I don't believe that. I think it was to get back into Europe and back into the Europa League, and he's done that. At this moment in time, we're in the Europa League. So I think that, you know, it's probably the right time to give him the contract. I also think it ain't a bad time to give it to him. I know you may be a little bit different on it, but I think like it takes a little bit of pressure off. Now, all of a sudden, like, you know, well, whatever happens in the next 4 games, he's our man. So there's no pressure on us. We're confident that we're going in the right direction. What will be, will be. And I think maybe just taking a little bit of pressure off everybody, like, you know.
Yeah, I mean, my thoughts were that it's too soon. I don't feel like we should be giving someone a contract until the season's done to see where we're at, because we could still miss out on the top 4, and that for me is deserving of him to be staying, because I personally feel if we do miss out now, like you said, Lee, easy, whatever. Now, I don't think we should be rewarding MIKEL ARTETA for coming 5th when I think 4th is there for the taking. So I think it'll be a failure for me now if we don't get top 4, and we're basically rewarding him already. I just think we're a little bit too jumping the gun here, if I'm honest with you. And I wondered what your thoughts were now if we were to miss out on top 4. Do we look a bit stupid as a club giving MIKEL ARTETA a contract now?
Well, no, I don't think like that, because I think, like, you know, listen, we're where we're. I think at the beginning of the season, forget about all this sort of stuff. It really does do my head in when people go, oh, but look where we were after 3 games. Look where we are now with 4 games left. That's how I look at it now. We're in a fantastic position to now top 4. I think what, you know, from the whole picture, listen, it was about getting into European football, and we're back in there, like, you know, whatever we get now is a bonus. That's how I think that the club see it. I think that if we do get, listen, if we don't get top 4, it's a failure from the position that we're in.
Yeah,
now.
I agree.
What we're in now, if we don't get top 4, it's a failure. You know, 4 games left, Leeds and Everton in the bottom 3 and 4 are our 2 home games. So really, we should nail them 2. We're not saying that we will, but we should. Then we've got Newcastle and Spurs, you know what I mean? Like, and I think that this weekend's pivotal, with Liverpool playing Spurs and then us. But ultimately, I do think that if we do get it, it's a bonus. But in saying that, it's a bonus because where we were at the beginning of the season and where we were when we started the season. Because I'm going to be really honest. Did I think we'd get Did you think we was going to get Champions League football? No, I didn't. I didn't think that. I thought we'd get 5th. But I'm not going to say like, oh, let's celebrate 5th and all that, because if we celebrate in 5th, it means that Tottenham have come 4th, and I'm not having that, you know. So for me, if Arsenal don't get top 4 now, in the position that we're in, it's a foul. It's a total foul. But in the overall picture, you know, we've certainly progressed from 8th to where we are now. With MIKEL and all that, I know like the fan base is like going absolutely. I don't know what is the matter with our fan base. It's never on an even keel, is it?
No.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, fans, you know, some that are close to me and all that, celebrating that MIKEL is, you know, got a new contract and all that. Like, you know, well, I think it's the right thing. I do think it's the right thing to give him the contract and all that. I'm not going to celebrate because at the end of the day, we're still nowhere near.
Done anything, have we?
No, exactly. You know what I mean? Like, if I look at it, when people say, oh, they're celebrating, like, you know, which is fair enough. Like, you know, we've got knocked out of the cup in the 5th, you know, like
third
round against Nottingham Forest. We've lost 11 games so far this season. I've seen us win some really decent games this season, and I've seen us go on bad runs, a little bit inconsistent. That may be because we're a young side and everything like that. But ultimately, you know, I think the club is going in the right direction. The one thing I will say about Mikel, and I said this earlier on today, and I don't care what anybody says, a couple of years ago, and I don't mean this being funny or anything, Dan, it was a chore for me to go to the Arsenal. It wasn't really enjoyable.
Yeah, I agree.
Mikel was got that back for me. Like, do you know what I mean? I look forward to going to games now. There's players I like in the football team. You know what I mean? There is a connection between the club and the players and the fan base again, which was gone. You know what I mean? Like 2 or 3 players reluctantly coming over to thank you at the end of the day. Now they've got the whole playing staff, players and everybody doing that. So I'll give Mikel credit for that. I think that's something that he's really looked at and he's addressed. But ultimately, you know, I don't think it's one where we should be celebrating for it. Listen, if in 2 years' time we've won the league and he's signing a new contract and all that, then yeah, pop the champagne corks. Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Yeah, and you know what? The way I see it is this: it's no shock to me. I didn't wake up the day and think, oh my God, you're kidding me. How's he got this new contract? I always thought he was going to stay even if we come 8th. I really did. I think they've bought into this man. Wherever he finishes, he was going to stay. Where I'm a little bit concerned or confused, more than concerned, is the fan base celebrating this as if this is unbelievable news when we really don't know what's going to happen in the next 4 games yet, let alone the next 4 years. So that's what I don't get. I had people near me holding banners out, wanting Wenger out when we come second to Leicester. So why are we now supposed to be celebrating a guy who's got us 8th twice and might get us into 4th or 5th? I don't quite get that. That's really confusing for me. We want to do Unai Emery out for the same reasons that we wanted Mikel Arteta out in relation to the positions. The only difference was he's got the players on side, Mikel Arteta. Unai Emery, unfortunately, those players down tools on him. And we've already seen what Unai Emery can do. You know, since he's left, he's won the Europa League again. And he's got to a semi-final of the Champions League with a poor side. So it weren't Unai Emery is terrible and Mikel Arteta is a genius. The difference, I think, with Mikel Arteta is what he's done is he's had the backing, which he don't think Emery had.
Yeah.
He's got the players on side, and there's definitely a connect with the fans, like you've just said. I don't think anyone can say you go to a game now and don't feel connected to those fans. I look down the tunnel, to the players. I look down the tunnel, I like the players. I'm with you, I like them all. There's only a couple that I have question marks on, and who knows if they're going to be still. So we concentrate on the positives as to why he's probably got that. That's a massive positive for me. The recruitment's been right. He's had backing from different hierarchy. There's no more Raul. There's no more Hus Fahmy. There's no more Ivan Gazidis. It's a completely different regime now that have totally bought into Mikel Arteta. And I think that's where things have definitely turned for the better. But I want to ask you, Lee, what needs to happen now for Mikel Arteta for this to be a really good decision for Arsenal, him signing a new contract? What do we need to see in the next couple of years?
Well, you know, let's be honest about it. Like, you know, people go on about Emery at the moment. You know, did he foul when he didn't get us to top 4? Yeah, to top 4 he did, but he was in the same position that Arsenal are in now. Do you remember when we went in that game against Crystal Palace? And he messed it up, so he fouled.
He did.
You know what I mean? Like,
and he needed to be sacked. He needed to be sacked.
So, you know, at the end of the day, Mikel's in a same sort of position now. And I feel that, you know, do I feel confident that Arsenal are going to get top 4? No. Why don't I feel confident? Because anything can happen in football and everything like that. And even the ones that are celebrating Mikel and all that, are you actually celebrating, you know, that you're guaranteed getting into 4th now? No, you're not. They're still cautious about it.
Of course they are, yeah. No one can say they're definitely going to get it.
No, and quite rightly so. You know, anything can happen in football, but we're in a very, very good position. What's got to happen is, I think now, for us to really be all on board with this, is that he goes and wins these next couple of games, you know, and gets us to top 4, which is still not easy, but we're in a good position. Get us to top 4, massive summer. I expect, you know, like with that contract signed and everything there's I would hope that he's gone in and said, right, you know, if I am going to sign this, I want this and this and this and that and that and that, and be backed in every department. Have a fantastic summer, and then for me, next season is to attack the Manchester Cities and Liverpools of this world and Chelsea's. I'm not saying you're going to win it and get to them, but I want to be in there competing with them. Like, you know what I mean? I don't want to be saying that there's another 6 points to Liverpool, there's another 6 points to Man City. I want to see us going to these places, really competing. I want to see Arsenal with a centre forward that us fans deserve to have. You know what I mean? That's going to bang in goals. All through my Arsenal career, I've had good forwards, all the way through. You know what I mean? Apart from a couple of years when we was a bit like what we
Where
are
we are
now.
now. Yeah, transition.
Do you know
time.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Transition time now. Make that happen. And yeah, and I want to go into next season not looking forward to just a new shirt. I want us to look forward to trying to compete and challenge for things. Watching the Champions League this week, you know what I mean? As fantastic as it was, I don't want to end up like Manchester City, if I'll be honest, but I want us to be a part of that. You know, even like yesterday, you know, watching Rangers, you know what I mean? Like, not got the best team in Europe, have they? But they got to a European final, like, you know what I mean? So it can be done.
Big up Joe Van Bronckhorst as well.
Yeah, he's done a great job, like, you know. And but so, you know, you don't necessarily have to have the best players to get to these sort of places. You've got to be well coached, well drilled. You know, it's everything. I want to see us connecting with the club as we are at the moment, but I do want to see us challenging for those big honours. And I think we can. I'm not saying that we're going to win them, but I want us challenging.
We've done enough, to be honest, on our other podcasts about this season. I think we all know what's got to happen this season. But if we're looking long term now, seeing as we're talking about the long term future of MIKEL ARTETA, I'm with you. I think next season, if we get Champions League this season, which I'm still optimistic we will, we need to be looking at how close we can get to Liverpool and City. We're not going to win the title, but that for me is not, we got top four, let's just stay in the top four. I want to be pushing on.
Yeah,
I want to be
100%.
going as close as we can to Liverpool and City and asking questions as to why we are 20 points behind them. I want to get that gap down to between 6 to 9 points and say, do you know what, we're only a couple of games off them now. Not, we needed to basically have another half season to even catch up with them. So that's the first one I'll say. Recruitment in the Summer League, we had 6 signings coming in the summer, last summer. We had none in January. We need to see between 6 and 8 this summer. I'm not even joking. People say that's too many.
No.
We need that. We need to compete. We need a squad. We've got a very small squad. People say we need 2 or 3. Edu's come out and says we need 2 big signings, not 2 signings. We need 2 big signings, but we do need more than that. And I think there are positions there. So my question to you, Lee, is moving forward, what do Arsenal need in the summer position-wise for you?
Well, they're going to, first and foremost, they're going to lose at this moment in time. Unless there's a dramatic change, you're going to lose 3. You're going to lose 3, maybe 4. You're definitely losing Eddie, you're definitely losing Lacazette, and you're definitely losing El Neni because they're out of contract.
Yep.
You know, so they've all gone. Like, you've got Pepe going into 1 year left of his contract. Leno would be definitely gone, which we know we've got the goalkeeper, an American geek,
Matt Turner
coming in, so we know that. So I look at that. First and foremost, where do we need to improve? Listen, when people go, we don't need that many. We're a team. As good as we're all and connected with it and all that, 20 points off the title. So we need to improve the team. So where do I think we need? I think we need another left back. One that's possibly going to take over from Tierney, if I'll be honest, because Tierney is a big worry to me. Injuries, season without any European football. He's broke down twice in that season, like, you know what I mean? So you're playing week in, week out. You need someone regular, more reliable, I'm afraid. You know what I mean? So I think they've got to address that situation. Then they've got to look for the midfield. We're light in midfield. We're light, so he needs to bring in 2 midfield players, in my opinion, like, you know, to strengthen and bolster the squad. I can't see Guendouzi and Maitland-Niles being here neither, so there's another couple going to go there. Saliba coming into the back gives us a little bit more strength in the defensive area. Still need, I think, you know, maybe a backup right back if Cedric don't want to carry on. But I thought Cedric has proved his worth, if I'll be honest, as a squad player. I then look at the midfield. I look at the midfield wide areas. I think that Pepe needs to be replaced, and then we need 2 centre forwards, 2 forwards, minimum of 2 forwards. So what's that? 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 players. 7 players.
And I'm with you, Lee. And, you know, I said it with James on AFTV not long ago, and a few people in the comments were going, as many as 6 or 7 or 8, really? I think we need 2 or 3. We might need 2 or 3 in the first 11, but what's going to happen after that? You need to have a squad. We need to go into this.
Especially if you're playing Europa League football, which we're guaranteed now, or, you know, let's hope so, Champions League football. You're going to need like strength in every department. We haven't got that. We haven't got that at this moment in time. You know, you can see that if you know, Partey, you know, listen, we're in a very, very good position for top 4, but I'm considering that if Granit Xhaka gets injured or El Neni gets injured, we're in trouble. We're in trouble.
Yeah. No, absolutely. 250 of you watching live. Please smash a like on the video if you can. We've got one super chat coming from Ali Jason. Thank you very much. Says, big up the judge. Said, I think we should go into the Champions League next season with the aim to win it. At the end of the day, it's a cup competition. I'm totally with it. You know, I've seen worse teams than Arsenal win the Champions League. Let's be honest. Do you know what I mean?
Listen,
Liverpool in 2005, Porto 2004. So if you're in the competition, you've got a chance. You've got to go for it.
Of course, look, Real Madrid have beaten PSG, Chelsea and Manchester City, like, you know what I mean? They're not in the same league as Manchester City. They're not in the same, probably like Chelsea, you know, have got better players and all that at this moment in time. And PSG probably got better players there, but they've found a way to get through, and you can do that. Listen, as I've just said, Rangers are not the best team in the Europa League, but they're in the final. Sometimes you need that little bit of luck, whatever. You know, it wasn't that long ago that bloody Spurs are in it.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? So, like, you know, if we're in it, we've got a chance. You know what I mean, like of progressing. But we've got to bring in some players.
Yeah, 100% we do. I'm with you. Matt Turner and Ramsdale are going to be our keepers next season.
Yeah.
It looks like Leno's going to be sold. Big up Leno as well. I've got to say, professional. He's come in when he's needed to. He ain't moaned. He's sat on the bench. He's been professional. And I wish him the best of luck if he goes back to Germany or Italy. I really do. As for our right back position, Bellerin's going to have to be sold because he's still an Arsenal player.
Yes, Bellerin, yeah.
Obviously, Cedric, you've got to make a decision as to what is going to happen there. I think he's only got a year left on his contract, so he might need a couple of years. So he might need selling if he's not going to be the long-term future in terms of backup for Tomiyasu. Left back, I think we've got to make a decision on Nuno Tavares. I'm with you. I think we might need someone who's defensive-minded. I love Kieran Tierney, as you know, he's one of my favourites. But actually, when you look at how many games he's playing, it ain't enough to be relied upon. So you need to look at a left back coming in there now. And whether you send Nuno out or whether you keep him in and around the squad is another thing. I actually think Nuno's more of a wing back or a left winger. I don't see him as a left back. As for the centre back situation, Austin Trusty's coming in from Colorado Rapids and William Saliba's coming back. They could come back into the squad. We don't know. It might be that Trusty needs somewhere on loan. If not, then he'll come in as backup because he's a left centre back and he'll probably replace Pablo Maria, who I think will go out to Udinese. Obviously, we've got our two in Ben White and Gabriel that are probably going to be fighting now with William Saliba, and we've got to make a decision on Rob Holding. It might be that Holding's the sort of player he wants to keep around the squad as backup because he has done well in that role. So he's got to make a decision there. He's got to make a decision on Granit Xhaka because I know he's signed in the long term, but there's a lot of people that are apparently sniffing around him this summer. And now that he's signed a long-term contract, we might want to make that decision. I think he'll stay, personally. I think Mikel's made it clear that he likes him and he's one of the leaders around the ground. El Neni, I don't know what's going to happen there. I would like to see El Neni go and do well at somewhere else. I wouldn't care if we kept him because I think he's a good squad player, but I think he's a player that we need to look at upgrading upon. There's two players I think need to come in there, to be honest, maybe a Ruben Neves and a Tielemans, something like that. And then we need to look at what we're going to do with the others. Torreira looks like he's going to go, it's another one. Guendouzi looks like he's going to go. So Maitland-Niles looks like he's going to go. So there's some midfield surgery that's really needed in that position. Then we look at the wings. We've got Saka, we've got Smith-Rowe, we've got Ødegaard, we've got Martinelli. But then you look at it and think Pepe, he's got 2 years left. We've got to either sell him or sign him up. I think Arteta, as you think, Lee, has just decided with Pepe he's done. Yeah. He's not got a career at long-term at Arsenal. So I think we might need to look at a position there. A lot of people talking about Diaby, who's coming from Bayern Leverkusen. Last time we signed a Diaby, you could only kick a ball. So let's hope this kid's any better. But apparently he's highly rated. I very much like the look of Elise from Palace. I think he could be a really good, talented boy. And obviously there's rumours of Serge Gnabry coming back to Arsenal, which I think everybody would quite like to see. And then, of course, you've got up top. I mean, what we do up top is going to be a decision for Mikel Arteta, but it's going to be serious surgery up there because Lacazette and Eddie look like they're off. Aubameyang's already gone. Balogun needs a loan, 100%. He still needs a loan move for me, and he needs to go and play men's football in the Premier League or in the Championship to toughen up. And I think you need at least two strikers there. I think you need an all-round 9, somebody like Darwin Núñez. If he's not realistic, then you're going to have to look at the next downgrade to that, which for me would be somebody like Tammy Abraham, somebody like that. And then, of course, you've got a lot of people talking about Gabriel Jesus and Paulo Dybala, who are looking like they're probably going to be the two that are favourites to come to Arsenal. Gabriel Jesus is apparently leaving Man City, and I think would be a good player who can give us a little bit of different dimension, sort of centre forward. He can play that false 9 position. He can play on both sides of the pitch, right and left, and I think he could be quite a good striker for one coming in. But if we do get him, he can't be our only choice. We've got to get another one from there. So there's some striker options. So we are looking at 7 or 8 players, Lee. And I think if we did that, that's going to give us the best chance to get close to Liverpool and City moving forward. And if we don't see that ambition, I'm questioning the club, saying, why are we only getting 2 or 3 in them? Because we've only got a squad of about 13 players here. So we ain't going to be able to compete in all 4 competitions, 1, 2 or 3, are we?
Yeah, and also you've got to question Mikel then and his ambition. You know what I mean? Why? Because why put your reputation on the line? You know what I mean? If you're not going to be backed. So I do think that he is going to be backed. I think it's a positive thing that he signed the contract. I'll be honest, because it's, for me, you know, he's a sought after manager. Like, you know what I mean? Like now everybody, you know, in the footballing world has all been very impressed by him and everything like that. So for him to put his neck on the block at Arsenal, you know, because I think you could ruin yourself. You know, a couple of weeks ago it was very precarious for him. You know what I mean? But he made some bold decisions, and I quite like those bold decisions. You know what I mean? Like that one against Chelsea. If that would have failed, by the way, and we'd have lost against Chelsea, I think he would have been in real trouble. You know, and if they ended up 7th in the league, you know what I mean? I don't think he would have signed this contract. So I think, you know, he signed it because we've got ourselves into Europe, and I think that he's put his neck on the block, and I think that he does believe in what the Cronkies are saying, like, you know what I mean. So you can only say that that's a positive. That is a positive.
Do you think though, Lee, like he's come out today in his press conference, Mikel Arteta, I just touched on what you're saying there. He apparently was offered this after the Southampton loss. From what he's saying, whether that's true or not, I don't know why he'd come out and lie. That seems a bit bizarre to me, but what it also suggests is that Josh Kroenke, the owners, the board, they trust him whatever. So he's going to stay whatever.
Him. Yeah. They have faith in him, more faith than you and I. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day. And listen, I know for a fact that if he would have lost that Chelsea game, I was with a lot of the staunch Arteta people, like, you know what I mean? And they were saying, oh, if he loses this game, you know what I mean, with the decisions that he's made, you know, I don't see no way back for him. But the board believed in him, and if the board are believing him and he's making those brash decisions and he's getting it, you have to give him credit for it, like, you know what I mean? I have to say that, like, you know, I certainly wouldn't have been giving him a contract after that Southampton game. It wasn't all down to him, of course it weren't, like, but I look at that Brighton game and I do blame him. You know, the decisions that he made there were unbelievable. But ultimately, you know, the board have wanted him from day one. They've seen something in him that they like, and they've gone with him. And for whatever he is working at the moment. If we were to get in the Champions League, you can't turn around and say anything else. And it's been a very good season as far as progression is concerned. I know we want to win trophies. I know we want to do this and do that. But I do see it as a start. I think looking at this season, it was such a horrendous season last year. I know that we didn't have fans going in and all that, but we was poor last season. You know what I mean? Like, to not even qualify for Europe is not for Arsenal. That's bad. That's bad. You know what I mean? Like, you know. It's a bit like Man United is, well, they're in 7th now. You know, I mean, everybody's turning around saying, oh, that's embarrassing for Man United. Well, it was embarrassing for Arsenal, you know what I mean? But we've dusted ourselves down from there, and I'm going to have to say a lot of people from the outside have admired what Arsenal have done, you know, so he must be doing something right. You know, when we've got an investment in it, haven't we? Do you know what I mean? Like, when you see some neutrals and all that, they're saying, "Oh, Arsenal are a different side and all that," like, you know. And so, you know, a few neutrals and that, like, and they've said it for a couple of weeks now that Arsenal are favourites for the 4th. You know what I mean? So we shall see. We shall see.
I think where I have question marks, I'm coming back to Arteta in a minute, but where I have question marks with what we should be celebrating, what we shouldn't. If you're a West Ham fan, or you're a Tottenham fan even, I think you celebrate 4th place. You'll even celebrate getting into Europe. The reason I can't do that, Lee, and I can't get the champagne out and start getting nuts when we get this 4th place is because apparently we wanted Wenger out for getting 4th. So it weren't that long ago that we were screaming and banners were out and everyone wanted him out. And as much as I wasn't a part of that regime, I was very much in love with what Arsene Wenger had done, and by the last couple of years I'd had enough. I think everybody had.
Yeah, me too.
But I had enough, not because we weren't getting 4th and finishing 8th twice in a year and trying to get into the Europa League and coming out of semi-finals of Europa Leagues. I had enough because we didn't get anywhere near the title. So where I find it very difficult now is to say, do you know what, I'm really happy with what I'm seeing because we're qualifying 4th. and I will never celebrate that. It's just the way I am.
Yeah, I get that.
However, though, saying that, I can appreciate that it's been a good season if we get fourth, because I, like you, at the start of the season, didn't see us getting fourth. Now, I actually think the players are good enough to get fourth, and I think they've proven that this season. I didn't think the manager was, and that's where he's proved me wrong. The manager has proved me wrong to say, do you know what, actually I am showing progress, and although I am slipping up, although I lose 3 in a row, I can go on these runs to pull it back. Now, what he needs to do next season for me to try and get close to Liverpool and City is iron out those stupid losses. I don't mind losing to City and Liverpool. I don't like it. But actually, you can appreciate that they're better than us. When we go and bounce runs like this, where we're going on a run losing to Everton's and Old Trafford we lost. We're a terrible Man United side. Yeah. We lost to Brighton, Palace and Southampton in a row. Start of the season, we couldn't beat Brentford away in the first game. Those sort of games for me, you know, not beating Burnley at home, I don't think, you know, Brighton and Palace, we ain't beat them this season. You know, that's just poor.
Well,
so we've got to iron them out.
Exactly, and that also starts, and I think which really has been a real bugbear of mine for many a year with Arsenal now, is we've never been ready for the beginning of the season. There's no excuses for us not to be ready for the beginning of the season. Signed the contracts, we've got the transfer window, there's no World Cup, no nothing. To stop us being ready and primed for that first game of the season. Be ready. You know what I mean? Like, there's many a times in September we're out of the league because we've lost our first couple of games. You know what I mean? Like, when you think about it, Liverpool's and Man City's are losing 2 or 3 games maximum the whole season. We're losing that in August.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's got to stop. You know what I mean? Like, so I expect an Arsenal team.
We need to be ready at the end of July, don't we? Ready to
roll. Ready to roll for that first game of the season. And there's no excuses for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Another super chat here from Trike. Says, tell me how the F Mikel Arteta deserves a new deal. He's obviously not happy. Lee, I want to touch on this because there are a lot of fans that aren't happy. There are a lot of fans that are very, very happy, as we've touched on already. Can you understand and have sympathy as to why people might think this is the wrong decision, Judge?
Yeah, of course I can. You know what I mean?
And why is that, do you think?
Because of, 11 defeats. Because, you got knocked out in the cup in the first round. No European football. I do see that, the negative side of things. You can go on that, and I do get that. Is there a confidence of Arsenal that we're going to nail these next 4 games? No, you know what I mean? So I can see why people are maybe not against it and all that. But what the situation you've got now is that the board think that he is, Dan. You know what I mean? So you've got to back the situation. There's nothing you can do about it now. So you've just got to, back it for this moment in time. Yeah. That's what I'm going to do now. He's not going. You know what I mean? For whether you think that he should or whatever. Even if he lost the next 4 games, he's going to be here now, because even though that would be really hard pill to swallow, the
target was Europe, and he's got it.
The target was Europe, But listen, everybody's sort of saying, "Oh, this is great" and all that. If Arsenal were to lose their next 4 games, and you're walking, do you reckon the stadium will be full, rocking out the Angel song and all Super Mikel? No, it won't. It won't, because there'll be disappointment. But ultimately, there's an opportunity now to get. I don't see it if he gets top 4. I don't see our fans, and this is my opinion. I'm still on the fence with Arteta, if I'll be honest. I'm not 100% sure and all that. But if he was to get top 4, I can't see why any fan would want him out. I can't.
Yeah, and I think you're fine with that. I think I can even get behind that, and I've not been convinced by him, and I haven't.
Yeah, no.
But when I look at it, I personally feel.
I'll ask you a question, if he gets top 4, you going to say?
If he gets top 4, I'll say, well, hats off to him. I've already talked about humble pies being eaten and joked around tongue in cheek.
There you go.
I've already said it because I didn't expect it, Lee. And the reason I didn't expect it, as I said before, was I didn't think Mikel Arteta was good enough to get these players into the top 4. And if he can prove me wrong to say that he is, then of course I'm going to sit there and say, do you know what? He's had a great season. But then again, I'm asking the questions next. I'm not going, well done, job done. I'm asking the questions next season.
And I agree with that. And my argument to the ones that are not convinced and all that, and I'll be honest with you, if he can get these players without centre forward, top 4, imagine when he's got his own, get some more players in, what he can do. That would be my saving grace. And
that's the question we'll have to find out next season.
Yeah, exactly. Because I'll tell you what, if he goes into next season and he's still in a position where he's not got a centre forward, I don't want no excuses. You know what I mean? Like, first game of the season, I said, I want you ready. I want us challenging for the title.
Yep.
Or, you know, I'm not saying, again, I emphasise, and we're not going to go and win it, but I want us challenging it for it, like, you know. And that means getting in the proper players in this transfer window. So, you know, then there's always that thing in the back of the ground with a lot of fans that give him time, he hasn't got his own players. I don't think you can say that after that. He's signed a new contract, he's got this summer, everything should be going well. If he gets top 4, you know, which we all hope and pray that he does, you've got to be behind it. You've got to be behind it.
Yeah, and I've got another super chat from Kane. Kane's not happy. He says, absolute disgrace that Arteta's got given a new contract. Well, my kind of answer to that as well is, if it's a disgrace, then let's talk a little bit about the Cronkies, because I've always had question marks over the Cronkies. I've never really understood this process and why it needs to take this long. I didn't want to have to go backwards to then go forwards, because I'd already seen the club go backwards for 18 years without a title. So that was my question of the process. And if we were going to have a process, I wanted to go and get an elite manager. And that was why I had question marks over getting someone who's learning on the job that's never managed before. So Josh and Stan, well, I leave Stan out of this now because we never hear from this bloke, but at least Josh is now starting to try at least to engage a little bit more with some of the fans. And at the advisory board the other week, he was talking about, you know, the club's future and how he wants to bring a connect to the fans and how he's going to look to refurbish stuff. So I wanted to get your opinions on the Cronkies and whether you think it's changed, because my opinion, Lee, is that whether you love them or hate them, and I'm in the bracket of I would rather them sell up and give to someone else who's got ambition to win, because although they're spending a lot of money, and they've spent a lot of money, the Cronkies, I don't really think they've had any care on where it's spent or any knowledge of who to put in these advisory roles to take us forward, and I think they've recruited the wrong people in that respect. Certainly putting enough money, and there's no question about it. We spent, I think, $250 million just in Arteta's reign in 2.5 years. So if we're going to give him another 250 million, the rumours are, in the summer, then it ain't about spending money. What it is about, in my opinion, is that lack of ambition to want to win and be ruthless enough to say 8th ain't good enough. We're getting someone else in, a Simeone, a Conte, an Ancelotti. So my question now to you, Lee, is has your opinion changed on the Cronkies, because they're sticking with this guy whatever, no matter whether he finishes 8th next season or 9th?
Well, I don't know. You know, I don't see if you can say that, because they've not. We don't know what. You know, what would have happened if it, I would say that if we were 7th now and they're getting.
Do you think if we were 7th now, he wouldn't have signed?
No, I don't think he would have. I think the reason that he signed the contract, I'll be honest, is because he's got European football. I do believe that, like, you know. Listen, contract, you know, people going wild about the contract and all that. If Arsenal start the season off and they lose their first 10 games, don't matter how long the contract is, he's gone.
And that's a great point.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, it's so the contract side of it really ain't to go too mad on. What it does, it just clarifies that you're going into next season with the manager, so it's good for transfer business in the summer, that you know the manager's coming in. Players that are at the club at the moment that will go, right, okay, yeah, Mikel's going to be here, I'm going to sign. The ones that also get clarification now, like Pepe's and all that, well, he's going to be here long term, he's not for me now, so I now need to make a move. So it's a
little bit of transparency.
Yeah, exactly, all the way down. And I think that, you know, so I don't want to go too overboard about signing the contracts and whatever, like, you know. He's signed a contract, and if he gets 8th and 8th, he's not going to be here. He knows that, you know what I mean? Like, you sign that contract, it gives him stability, it gives everybody stability going forward. But ultimately, he's still got to get results, and he knows that.
I think Simon Jordan summed it up actually on Talk Sport today, because I listened to him and Martin Keown and Jim White as the news was broke. And he sort of said, this means nothing. This contract means nothing. Yeah,
exactly.
Contracts mean nothing in football now. And I kind of, at the end of it, I turned off and I thought, do you know what, he's right?
Yeah,
because actually,
right.
like you say, if we win 10 games or we lose 10 games, we'll still know the contract won't mean anything. Because if we win 2 games, he's staying because he's got a contract. But if he loses 10 games, he's going. So the contract means nothing. So I totally get that. And I understand where the people are coming from when they say the owners ain't really got anything to lose, because he won't be on mega bucks, I imagine, Mikel. He's not going to be on Simeone or Klopp or Pep wages. So if it was to get, you know, it's gone wrong, then we're not going to lose out millions and millions and trillions of pounds like Tottenham have done with Mourinho in the past.
Yeah, exactly.
So I suppose there ain't nothing to lose financially in that respect. But I do believe, and I heartily believe, that the Cronkies and the board stick by this guy and think that he is going to be top draw. So it's going to be interesting this season. I don't want to go too far, because what we were talking today about the future of Mikel Arteta, there's massive 4 games left. But next season's huge, because next season's going to be even tougher, Lee, if we are, because we're going to be in Europe, whatever. If we're in the Champions League or the Europa League, we've got 2 games a week. He needs to bolster that squad up. And also what he needs to do is show progress again, because everyone's saying about progress this season, coming 6th would be progress, coming 4th would be progress. If we come 4th, let's say, and we're all happy, next season he can't come 6th, can he? He's got to go again.
No, he's got to go again, exactly, and that's where the Cronkies come into it. You know what I mean? They've got to back him. You know what I mean? Like it's, you know, you can't. People are always quickly to jump on the Cronkies last season. They backed Arsenal last season. You know what I mean? Like they put in a lot of money, which people criticise and all that, but there was a lot of money there. Ben White's and Ramsdale's and all that. They put that money in. They put the money up, and it looks like we've got a very, very good chance of getting top 4 now. Like, you know, so you can't knock that. You can't knock the Cronkies for that. I don't see why anybody would do. Like, and if they go again, you know what I mean, and chuck a lot of money in to Arteta and back him again, you know, you can't look. The Cronkies have backed Arteta. There's no two ways about that. Whether they backed him, and by the way, whatever you think about it in general, they went for Vlahovic. You know what I mean? There's no two ways about that. So they were backing him again in the summer in the winter one for that forward. So you know, you can't argue with that. As much as you want to have a go at the Cronkies or whatever.
Yeah, people like to, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm with you there, though, in terms of the money.
They've backed it. And if they put up again this season with another 200 million or whatever, you know, that's what it's going to take then. 200 million.
It will.
You know, I mean, like, but we've got the Champions League money coming in if we get the Champions League. No excuses. I don't want no more. The greatest thing about Mikel signing this contracts, the summer coming in now when we get Champions League football, right? There's no excuses. Oh, well, we ain't got Champions League football. We can't get this on cat. We've got Champions League football, so we've got that if we get it. You know what I mean? We've got a manager now, that's signed a new contract. We've got, you know, everything is in place for no excuses. No excuses, Arsenal FC no more. That's what it should be like, you know. Everything's in place for us to go and get what we want.
Yeah, I'm with you. Last few things I wanted to mention before we start to wrap up is a couple of things. One thing I can't deny, and I do quite like it actually, Lee, and I wanted to get your opinion on this, is we've had a couple of manager of the months Mikel has had. He's brought all the coaching staff out to sort of reward it and say, you know, we're all in this together. Something else we see today was him signing on the dotted line along with the women's, the Arsenal ladies that managed. Here we go, Jonas. I couldn't think of his name. Well done. Who, by the way, congratulations for winning as well the other nights. We missed that, didn't we?
Yeah, 3-0. Beat Spurs 3-0 comfortably. Still in with a chance of the title.
The last game,
do you know they lost the bottom of the league, but really unbelievable. Lost 1-0. If they'd have won that game, you know, it would be all in our hands. And unfortunately, Chelsea have been winning. Chelsea got Manchester United this week, which is, they could actually slip up, but they won't. But so, you know, unfortunately, as well as Arsenal have played, they ain't going to win nothing to win. It's unbelievable. But they've been great team to watch. And he's done a very, very good job.
He has done a good job. And what I liked about it was they were both sitting there together. Now, as much as I'm not too convinced about Mikel, and I'm not really excited by him signing a new contract, what I will say is at least there seems to be a connect within the club now and people trying to look at stuff the right way. And I think that's another example of things going particularly right in that respect.
Everything about Arsenal this year, off the field, I've got to say that they've done really, really well. The adverts, you know what I mean, for the local businesses have been fantastic. They've been fantastic. You know what I mean? Like the song, you know, like with Mikel, he's been interviewed with him today. Like, you know, quality. Like, so it's the fact that they're looking at what the fans are doing now. There's an interest of what the fans are doing, and there's an interest what they are. So it's great. So everything that they've done, you know, like that, getting the two managers today to sign and all that, like, you know, Mikel, and I'll give him credit again. You know, he could be big-headed and say, "Oh no, I want it all for myself," and he hasn't. You know, I mean, he does put the team and things
He's sharing
first.
It around.
You know, and you know, that time I met him after the Wolves game, like, do you know what I mean? Like, very, very humble guy. I have to say that, like, you know what I mean? Like, as it happens, that day, I did think differently of him, because of what he was doing that day. You know, you thought, wow, you know what I mean, like talking to every single fan and all that. He don't have to do that, you know what I mean, but he did. Why he did it, I don't know, but he did, you know what I mean, and I thought, you know,
yeah, fair enough,
it was quality. So there are things that you know, I'm really, you know, when people go to me, "Oh, you don't want Mikel as manager and all that," like, I'm not convinced, but I want to be convinced.
I'm the same.
I
want to win everything, mate.
I like some of the things that he does, but but ultimately, as good as all that side of it is, when he takes Granit Xhaka out of midfield and puts him at left back and doesn't have no midfield player, I question.
course.
Do you know
All of
what
us
I mean?
did.
Like, so,
Them 3 losses, mate. I hated him again. I was thinking, what are you doing?
I look at the Southampton game, I looked at that and I thought, I didn't think he did much too wrong, it was just one of those games. But the Brighton game, you know, really did do me in a little bit like. But there are good things that he's doing. But ultimately, it's still, they're all off the field and they're very, very good. And it's bringing the club together to push forward. Listen, fans getting the hump with Arsenal nowadays, you know what I mean? Like, love it. Why is that? Because we're doing something. Yeah, because we're doing
nastier now.
Yeah,
we're trying harder to beat
getting on other teams' nerves, you know what I mean? Why are we getting on nerves? Because we're not rolling over and having our belly tickled
that's it.
and getting beaten. You know what I mean? Like, so there are some real
people
problems.
hating us being happy, hating us being celebrating, hating the fans celebrating.
Fantastic.
I hate that, and that's what's great.
So Arsenal are slightly coming back to where we want to be, and all the things from the PR people from the outside have done fantastically well this season, and it's all coming together a little bit there, like maybe a little bit quicker than what we thought and what me and you hoped, but there is something there. I do see that, like, you know.
Just lastly, massive rumours about this Louis Dunford song, The Angel, North London Forever, as people are calling it. What's your thoughts on the song, and do you think that's something that we could look at doing? I quite like it, I'm not going to lie. As someone who isn't a fan of some of the other songs that we're singing at the moment, I'll be quite happy to hear that one over the other one. But that's just my opinion. I quite like it, and I think there is a potential to be a connect there in some way. He's apparently met with him today. And
he's met with Mikel today, like,
great.
So fantastic.
To be fair to Mikel, he did say in the press conference, if that's what the fans want, we'll look to try and do something around it, which I think is great. And there's rumours about the Everton game, last game of the season, there being some chant around that North London, the Angel song. So just wanted to hear your thoughts on that, Lee.
Listen, I'm all for all of that sort of stuff. I love all the songs and things like that. Always have done, like, you know. And I think, you know, like, we need a song. I've always said, you know, Arsenal should always come out to good old Arsenal, which they do now, like, you know what I mean, which is fantastic. It gives me a, you know, I don't remember the 1971 team, but, like, you know, I know my history and everything like that about the Arsenal. That fills me with pride. You know, the North London one is something special as well, like, you know. The words do mean something to an Arsenal fan or an Arsenal supporter, like, you know. North London is a special place. I don't care what anybody says, Dan. When I get off at Finsbury Park, every time when I walk down Highbury or in and around Islington or something like that, it's special, isn't it?
100%.
It's special walking around everything like that. You know, Seven Sisters Road, up the street, wherever you want to be, Highbury or whatever. There's you know, and I've been going there since I was a kid, every weekend or whenever I can to the Arsenal. You know what I mean? And it's special.
What's weird as well, I don't know if you get this feeling, but I was very young when we were at Highbury. I was 14 years old when I was going up there. Obviously, I couldn't get tickets before that. I was very, very, very young when we were at Highbury, obviously. But 14 years old was when the first got there, around about 2000, when we were winning everything. And I used to love that feeling. Whenever I walk down there now, I get like a weird pain round here, and it's like a choked up feeling. And I think, I know we're only over there, and I can go and watch the team, but I miss those days so mad. And I think when songs like that come out, there's that connect when you listen to the lyrics and you listen to him going through North London, and I quite like the song, and I hope it does go.
I also hope they don't change it. I'm you know, like the Arsenal bit in it is very, very good, but I think, like, you know, that you know, it's got to be the same as it is now, and you know, like a little bit like the Liverpool one, you never walk alone, like, you know what I mean. It's always been special to them. I've always liked things like that. I don't know. I've always had a thing for Z cars when Everton come out, like, do you know what I mean? Like, you know, when that siren goes off, you know what I mean? Like, it gives you something there, like, you know what I mean? Chelsea, when they come out to their one, like, you know, all the lights go down and all that, like, and I feel that we've got to get that with Arsenal a little bit, like, you know, we're getting there, Dan, you know what I mean, like, and that song will definitely help,
I think so, and I hope it does go forward with it, and apparently the lad is like made up completely.
It
would be, wouldn't you? You sung a song like that, and then all of a sudden your football club get in touch with you.
I don't know if it'd be very interesting. No, probably wasn't thinking of the Arsenal when he sung that, like, you know what I mean, I don't know, but like, it's that Arsenal fans are related to it. He's an Arsenal fan, and it's just snowballed from there. And yeah, fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it is good. Judge, can't let you go without getting a little bit of a prediction towards the end of this season. You've been quite confident and consistent that you think we are going to get this top four. However, when you're going game by game, it might be a little bit nervy and a little bit different. But we've only got 4 games left. This weekend for me is absolutely massive, like absolutely massive. And people were talking about the North London derby. I ain't there yet, mate. I'm not there yet because
not there
we've got to concentrate on this weekend. So I know we've done a preview last night with Cajun. If you haven't looked at that, guys, check that out. But I want to get your kind of opinions of these next few, of this weekend, because Liverpool absolutely huge tomorrow night against Tottenham.
Yeah.
And then obviously Leeds Arsenal. If it goes our way on paper and Liverpool get the result and Arsenal get the result, surely something's got to go drastically wrong for us to mess it up then.
I'll be confident. I think this weekend's pivotal. Yeah. I really do. If Spurs go and beat Liverpool, I think it changes the dynamics. It changed the dynamics when we beat Chelsea. I'm going to be honest. I was in Dubai when we lost to Southampton. That's it. I having a drink that night and I was just going, right, that's it.
Yeah, I did. I said,
it's finished. It's finished.
Yeah, I think everyone did. I think everyone accepted it.
You know what I mean? Like, got a little bit nearer Chelsea. My mate Steve, I went up with Steve and he's going, we're going to win tonight. I said, Steve, you know what I mean? You're dreaming. You know what I mean? Like, but if we win tonight, who knows? We went and won that game, you know? So from that moment on, you know, that's why I'm wary of this game for Liverpool Spurs, because if Spurs go and beat Liverpool, I think that then they become favourites. I think they would become favourites. That's how massive this weekend is for us. If Liverpool win that game and then we go and beat Leeds, it's no good then we're not doing the business against Leeds. You know what I mean? Like, we have to beat Leeds. I honestly think if we go into the Tottenham game with 5 points clear, that's a dream. When you think about Southampton game, it's a dream. If we get to that, I'll be very, very confident that we could actually nail it at Tottenham, because I think there'd be so much pressure on Tottenham to win that game. They might have to make, even a draw's no good to them, you know what I mean? They're going to have to chuck things at it and whatever, like. Because if we go 5 points in front and we then go to Tottenham and draw, you know what I mean? We only have to beat Everton or get
Newcastle
or get one win out of 2. So Tottenham will be chucking everything at it, and we could, like, you know what I mean. So it's this weekend. I've got Ashley, who's my Liverpool mate, as you well know. Like, he's given me his Liverpool shirt. I'm going to put that nicely by the chair tomorrow. You know what I mean. And hopefully Liverpool do the business. We can't do anything about that, by the way. You just got to sit there and watch that out. But we can on Sunday make sure we get the 3 points, and even if the worst scenario comes to it, we're still 2 points in front.
Yeah, that's the best way to look at it. And just on that, before we do wrap up, if Liverpool win, Arsenal beat Leeds, are you confident that we could go to White Hart Lane, win, and put Tottenham out? Because imagine that would be unbelievable, wouldn't it? I'm not. I think it's got draw written all over it. I think both teams are going to be nervy to lose the game, but we could do it. We beat them at the Emirates. I know it was different under Nuno. Spurs aren't a fantastic side, Judge. They ain't. They're not fantastic.
No,
you don't look at them and go, wow, this is impossible to beat these. So we could go there, and if we won that game, that would send everybody celebrating.
Well, you know what I mean? Like, bring it on, and I'll be singing the Mikel song then. It's like, you know, we've got top 4, like, you know what I mean? Like, listen, if you're gonna get top 4, it'd be a lovely place to get it.
Cool, yeah.
And when people turn around and go, oh, you're celebrating top 4, I'll celebrate that, because it's been a long time. One, since we've not won there, you know what I mean, for 8 years, right? It's been 8 years too long, by the way. And 2, you know, we get top 4, like, you know, and we get above them as well, like, you know, and I don't care about. I always say this now. I'm nervous about this top 4 race because it's Tottenham. If it was Man United, I'd be a little bit more relaxed about it, or if it was Liverpool or whoever. But it's them. You know what I mean? And the last time we was in this race with them, like, do you know what I mean? It was nip and tuck. You know what I mean? We done it when they lost at Newcastle. Like, we've got to go to Newcastle, like, you know. And listen, the other thing is, Leeds have caused us a few problems in the past. You know, twice stopped us winning the league when they was in relegation zone. So listen, this is a massive weekend. And listen, I don't. I'm like you. I can't think of that Spurs game yet because I'll be all nervous. I won't be able to sleep for that. But I will sleep a little bit better on my pillow if we're 5 points in front of them.
Yeah, 100%, mate. Guys, we're going to leave it there. This has been a pleasure. Thank you all for tuning in. There's well over 500 of you still watching live. If you can smash the like button for us and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, that would be amazing. We're going to be back tomorrow, myself and Graham Brooks at 12. We're going to be doing a show, the Arsenal Team Talk. Graham's going to be taking us through the tactics and picking his side that he thinks is going to start against Leeds on Sunday. So please join us tomorrow if you are about. It'd be great to see you at the weekend. Until then, we'll see you next time. Take it easy and up the Arsenal.